What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about cloud gaming, streaming games to devices, things like that. I think it's come a long way in the past few years, and maybe you're familiar with it already, maybe you're not, just coming across this video. But I wanted to share sort of my setup and how I've been using it, and maybe you'll get some ideas of your own, maybe some things you haven't even thought about yet. Before we dive in though, on this channel we talk about tech that marries form and function. We like tech that both improves our lives and looks good while doing so. So if that sounds cool to you, please consider subscribing and like this video for more. I also want to point out that though Backbone did not actually sponsor this video, they did send out their Backbone Pro for us to check out and review. Side note, I've been loving it and I'm excited to talk about it. And you'll see that it's kind of a big part of my sort of cloud gaming setup. So more about that in a second. If at any time during this video you want to pick up yours, or maybe you want to pick up one of the PlayStation versions, or maybe one of their other sort of Backbone versions or releases that they've come out with, you can check the link in the description to pick yours up, and I will try to see if I can get you all a discount code. Right, so I've never been like a huge gamer. I've always enjoyed games. I really love story-driven games. I'm not really one for like competitive gaming, anything like that. I can take it in, small bits. I prefer the story-driven stuff. I like a good story, whether it's on TV, a show, a movie, or games. So I've never been a huge gamer, if you will. In fact, my wife really does not like video games. And so I've never been in a spot where I have had sort of like a main console in the house, especially since having kids. And neither do I really want a console at the house. I think it would take my attention a lot of the time, but I was interested. I do love video games, and every once in a while I want to be able to play one. And so for years and years now, I've been trying to figure out, like, are there games I can play on my Mac, on my phone, but I've never really been able to play like AAA titles, like main games that have come out. And so after doing some research into the whole cloud gaming space, I came across, of course, Luna through Amazon, which I didn't really love, but recently I came across Boosteroid, which I'll leave a link to down in the description. Boosteroid basically allows you to sign into like your Steam account on a server somewhere else, on a computer somewhere else. So you're using the power of that computer to play the game, and then it's streaming it to your Mac or your phone or wherever it might be through the browser. And I was actually really surprised at how well that actually worked just on like regular Wi-Fi. It kind of blew my mind. And something that's interesting here at the studio is Mike had this like beefed up PC. Mike is in the studio space with us. He had this beefed up PC he had used for photography, creative work in the past. We loaded Steam on there, and that thing handles games like a beast. And we also got a PlayStation 5 here at the studio. So now I had access to Mike's PlayStation library and my Steam library, and we had that PC. I keep it in a corner of my office with like a tiny little monitor hooked up to it, and I just leave it on with Steam running. And then we have our PlayStation hooked up to the living room TV here at the studio. And because there are apps Steam Link, which allows you to play Steam games remotely off of your PC, and PlayStation Remote, I think it's called, no, PS Remote Play, I can basically play from the PlayStation or the Steam, PC, wherever I am. And I'm gonna tell you, it works flawlessly, like surprisingly so. So basically we have like a PC, a powered up PC here, a PlayStation 5 here, and I can play them basically from anywhere in the world. But there is a caveat to all of this, and that is the importance of a good internet connection. Now we have both the PlayStation and the PC hooked up via Ethernet to our internet here at the studio, and we are using Glow Fiber and paying for like a gigabyte of data, which is important for us here at the studio. As you know, Ben lives in Raleigh, who edits a lot of the videos. Being able to transfer files back and forth has been a huge thing that we need to have fast internet for, but it also doubles as this nice network to be able to play games remotely because we're wired in through Ethernet here. So I will say, if you're trying to do something to set things up like this, having the systems that are actually running the games be plugged in through Ethernet, 1, and 2, to have a really fast internet connection and subscription is very important for this. On the flip side, at my house at home, I also have Glow Fiber and a fast internet speed. So being able to play on Wi-Fi through there actually works quite nice as well. We have an Eero system, so that mesh system that actually came with Glow Fiber subscription, and it works super well. I think what's really cool about this setup is I'm in this studio, Hunter's here, Mike is here, Josh is here, I'm here. I have games I've bought, I bought on Steam in like college and stuff. Mike has his Steam library, his PlayStation library, Hunter has his Steam library, and we can kind of all share that, be running off, you know, have different accounts logged into Steam or on the PlayStation console and be able to play those games and share those games. It just opens up more of a library to play games from. And so I think having this like hub, the studio here, and maybe if you have an office that has fast Wi-Fi, maybe you work for a company that has really good Wi-Fi, or just really good internet, I should say, this could be an option for you too. Like bring your system or your PC or console to wherever you have good internet, hook it up via Ethernet and just leave it there, and then be able to play these games no matter where you are around the world. I think it's just fantastic. Now, I do want to talk about Backbone here because I came across this company a while ago and I thought it was pretty interesting, but I never quite got it. You know, I was used to playing Call of Duty Mobile on my phone with the touch controls, and I'm actually quite good at it. I really enjoy playing it with the touch controls, and so I never really looked twice at Backbone until I started getting to this cloud gaming thing where I'm playing like AAA titles like God of War or Spider-Man or The Last of Us, and having an actual controller makes a lot of sense. Now before this, I had the PlayStation version of the Backbone, and then I actually asked if they would send out the Pro model, which just started shipping, I think today or yesterday. And let me just say, it's not cheap, and the regular model, not the Pro model, is a little bit more affordable, but I still think it's like $100, something like that. And the Pro model is a little bit more expensive. Again, links in the description if you want to check that out, or maybe find some deals, see what they have going on there. But I will say there have been a couple big improvements with the Pro over the standard one. First and foremost is Bluetooth connectivity and like a wired hard connection here too. So there is Bluetooth. I think they say you can get up to like 40 hours of use on a single charge with this using Bluetooth. You can obviously connect to your phone or your computer or your TV, have multiple connections there. The next big thing for me are the updated analog sticks. They've made these a lot taller. I don't know a ton about like the ins and outs of like Hall effect or non-Hall effect. I think these aren't Hall effect sticks. I heard someone else say that on a review. I have no idea what that means. But basically they stick up more, which gives you more travel, which just makes the experience that much more closely related to holding like an actual PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller. I'll also say they've really bulked up the handles here, so it's more of like a full-on controller feel, which is also quite nice. The thing I don't love about it is it's kind of slippery. Like there are grips here, and I think if your hands get a little bit of moisture maybe from playing, it kind of starts to stick a little bit better. But there's been a couple times I'm handling it here and it's just kind of like flipping all around, kind of sliding in my hands, which I don't love that, but that would probably be the only thing I have against this. Another cool thing is they do have these programmable buttons here on the back, so maybe jumping is something you like to do when you're playing Call of Duty Mobile or something, or maybe that could be like a reload, whatever you could configure it to be. You can also have different users on here or different configurations on here depending on which games you're playing, or if you know you or your spouse are using this. You can have sort of your own setup here, which is quite nice too. And then the cool thing is I'm actually using the the CMF Phone 2 Pro here, which is a nice big display. It looks really nice. You can use really any device that has a USB-C here or not, because it has the Bluetooth capability. So I could have my phone sitting here and be using the controller just the same. So I think this is really cool, and I think for anyone considering playing, you know, cloud gaming, I could basically set up like a normal PlayStation controller with my Mac or something, and that's possible too. I've just found this kind of gets it all done, and I think that's Backbone's kind of like what they're trying to accomplish. They know that like cloud gaming is becoming more and more popular, and at some point it might be just the way it is. And so having a controller that's agnostic to whatever platform you're on, Steam or PlayStation or Xbox Game Pass, things like that, but allowing you to connect your phone to this, your TV to this, your iPad to this, like there's just a lot of versatility here. And I really enjoy this new updated Pro model of what Backbone is doing. So that was kind of like a long ad, but at the same time it wasn't an ad. I'm just kind of talking about how like I think this is probably the perfect setup, at least for me, because again, I'm not like playing hours and hours each day, or the kind of person who has a console in their house. Like occasionally, if like the wife is visiting a friend or something, I'm gonna pick this up and maybe play an hour or two of a game, and then in a few more weeks I'll do it again, right? So that's gonna do it for today's video. Let me know if you've ever sort of dove into cloud gaming, if you've tried to stream games to your devices, if internet has been a problem in the past, if you prefer just hardwired into a console with your TV. I'd love to hear it. We don't talk about gaming a ton on this channel, but it's something that we're getting into a little bit more, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Again, special thanks to Backbone for sending this out for us to check out. I've been loving it. I think anyone who picks it up is going to love it. There's not a lot wrong with what's going on here. And because Backbone has been doing this for a little while, you can expect this type of product to last quite a few years for you. So thanks again so much for watching. Again, if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. If you liked this video, like it for more like it. Watch this video next. I think you're gonna love it. And I'll see you all in the next one.